Hi there, this is Brian Gregory with Network Innovations, and today I'm going to take just a few minutes and show you some AltiGen tips and tricks on reporting. Now, no two reporting situations are alike, so I'm going to move really fast and just kind of show you some of the possibilities. I'm absolutely happy to help with your specific situation. Give me a call, send me an email, and we'll get you going. So with that, I'm going to kind of dive in here. So the first thing you want to do is run CDR search to get your data. And you can basically, you want all of the detail basically to start with. So put in your time frame. I'm just going to run a report for October. So I'll go from October 1st at midnight to October 31st at midnight. The first screen you get shows your summary. Just check the box and click detail. Then hit export once it's done processing, and you can export all of that data to a spreadsheet. And I'm just going to jump ahead here. I have a spreadsheet already available. Now please note that in this demo I have restricted the names and telephone numbers for privacy purposes. So the first thing you want to do is a couple of quick tips to get this turned into a table. So obviously there's a lot of information here. You can simply hit Control-End on the keyboard. That takes you to the very last cell in the spreadsheet. Then hit Control-Shift-Home, and that selects the entire spreadsheet. With the spreadsheet selected, click on Insert, Table, and hit OK. That will instantly convert your spreadsheet to a table, which already makes it significantly more useful. Note that you will have to expand a few columns out. You can select everything and do a format auto column width if you'd like. But at this point, then, any one of these columns can be used to sort or filter. So, for example, if I'm looking for a certain day, I can click on Date. I can uncheck and say I just want to see the 15th, and it'll immediately filter down to the 15th. I can also sort by that column, or I can check the boxes and unfilter. So what this can be really handy for is if I'm looking for ring no answers, for example, then I can come in, filter by exit state, come down to ring no answer, and immediately I'm going to see all of my ring no answers. Or maybe I want ring no answers or rings, calls that went to the queue, so you're able to pick in there. You can also do a search or filter for a specific number, and obviously I've restricted and cut this down. When you bring up this list on your data, you'll have all kinds of different extensions and phone numbers in here, but I could search for a specific phone number and then bring up all instances of just that phone number. So some really neat things that you can do right there. Now keep in mind that each line is not necessarily a phone call from end to end. So for that reason, for every call you'll get a sequence ID, and then the exit state is the reason that it left this record. So let me find an example of a call with several steps to it here. 2699. So now I've filtered this call. So you can see when the first call came in, the first person was busy. The second person, and that's why it rang that person 104. They were busy. So it rang to the next person. The next person was 106. 106 transferred that call, and it was connected. Again, since I've restricted the numbers here, it kind of doesn't make sense because obviously they didn't transfer it to themselves. It went to a different extension. The person they transferred it to, it rang no answer, and then somebody else picked up the call. So you're able to see all of that stuff really easy with sorting, filtering, and so on. The other thing I want to show you really quick is pivot tables. and pivot tables can give you access to some pretty neat things. One thing we're going to do before we switch is I'm going to take over one of these empty columns and add a special date field. And there are all kinds of different formulas and fields that you could put in here, but one that's very useful for reporting purposes is to use the date to get the date of week. So I can take this field and I can rename it day of week. Then I'll put in our formula here. And that instantly uses the date to look up and add the day of the week to our data. So then, if I go back to Insert and hit Pivot Table, it'll default to use our entire table to create the new pivot table. Then what you get is a list of available fields. And you can really play around with this. It's very quick and easy and also super powerful. So in this case, I'm going to give you a report for call volume by day of the week by hour. So I'm going to grab our time and make that our row. I'm going to grab weekday that we added and make that our column. Then I'm going to drag the ID down here to values. And one thing that you can do, I'm using our session ID for the call, and I don't want to sum those because each call has a different thing. So I can come in here to the settings, change that to account. So that's just going to tell us how many IDs we have on each day of the week by hour. So obviously very quickly here, I've given myself a report, and I can see how many calls we get every day and by hour. And then it's also super easy to add that as a graph. So I can come in here and pick a graph type and graph those calls out. I can also do some filtering. So for example, you notice I have 24 hours here, but if I wanted to filter on time or day, I can add days of week to the filter. I can unselect Saturday and Sunday. Then move my days a week back to the column, and that filter will still apply. I can do the same thing with hours. So I can move hours up as a filter. I can come in and say, I just want 8 a.m. to noon. Then I can move hours back down as a row, and I'll have my day broken out. Here's by hour. So I can also, as you noticed, I can expand that out by the minute. So you can do some really, really cool stuff with pivot tables very quickly. There's a lot of power here, but with Excel, you can do some Googling really quick. And how do I do this? There's usually a tutorial out there. You're also welcome to call me, and I'm happy to help. Now, one of the other neat things you can do with these filters, for example, is let's say that I want to view calls by hour by day only for calls that went to group 105. So I can add my target ID as a filter and choose 105 and instantly, and then it's easy to change your drop down if you want to run multiple reports. I want to see 104, 105, 106. Another really common one is the DNIS filter. DNIS is the number somebody called to get to you. So if you have multiple phone numbers, maybe multiple departments or divisions, maybe you've got a Kansas City number, a St. Louis number, and a Wichita number, you can come in here and filter by number and see those calls number by number. So again, some super quick and easy things that you can do with pivot tables and with a standard table. Just simply run the report. We've been on this for 10 minutes, and I got some really good useful information. If you have any questions, please give me a call. You can send me an email at brian, BRIAN, @netin.com, or you can call me at 877-747-0504. Thank you.